Hello. In today's video, I will develop the um, COM code further, what I did in the previous one, in the basics and Speedcam video. So in this one, I developed a Speedcam to, I think, like the final version. What it will do, previously just basically made a screenshot and that's it. And it kept overwriting it, um, and it just wasn't properly prepared. That was just like a starting point. So today I will go through on the improvements I have made and will explain what the tips and tricks I learned and how I did it. Of course, just please consider that there are 2 million different ways to do it, and probably there are much easier, better, smoother ways to do it. But I try to do it in a way that I can and it is easy. So it might be a bit longer, but hopefully easier to understand and to recreate. So what I have here is in the model I have a speed cam and there is a 10-meter long area from 100 and 110 in this link where vehicles will be checked like in real world. And in the file name I will have the registration or the vehicle number. Basically, I will have the time when it happened and I will have the speed. So, and the video will, or the, sorry, the screenshot will be taken in the right angle. So the first way, what I did was, let's start with the camera. So the easiest way I found, or for me, that after placing this speed cam, I made a video about that, as well how you can import any model and where to get them. So the first I did, I just basically zoomed in to the location I want and I recorded it here in camera positions and added a camera position, and it is camera position 1. In this one, in that camera position, if I go in the list, so if you go to presentation, camera positions, then you can see that for that camera position, all these details are recorded. So the coordinates, the angles, field of view, everything. So I will use that. I will use this to load that into the view in with COM. So in the COM, let's just focus on these here. So what happens here? Let me just make it a bit bigger. So what happens here? This is the method I use: set camera position and angle. So if I go to the help, set camera camera. So there is the set camera position and angle method. So sets the 3D camera position and angle. You can see here the necessary inputs. Like here. So what I do, since I have no idea, I mean, let me just show you. So how to know the positions, for example. So the positions are very easy because you know that if you, for example, go to the static, the 3D model, you know the coordinations for that, or sorry, the coordinates for that, X, Y, Z, scale. So basically here you can get the X and Y, so you know where it is. You just take it a little bit less. So if you put it to like 168, it will be before the camera a bit. So you can make some guesses from here as well. And the angles for the view, of course, and the field of view, that is something you can't get from this, but just from practice, I guess. But you can also, again, just create a view, go to the camera position, and from here you can get some angles, pitch angles, field of view, focal length is calculated, I think, and you can just get an idea from these as well as you move it around and save to a new one. So yeah, so this set camera position and angle, it is in the network window. As you can see in the bottom, as I showed before, here in the bottom you can always find the members or referenced by what it belongs to. Network window, and again if you come here, network window, that is graphics, and graphics are by and the graphics is also by the Vissim itself. And then you can get that also if you go to Vissim. But nearly everything starts with Vissim, so there isn't a lot to think about. You see the properties, graphics, net, simulation, and there are some others as well. So let me just go back here. So basically Vissim, and within that graphics, within that corner network window, within that the camera set camera position angle. So if you want something, it's better to just go and search for it, and then you will see what's coming up, and you find the method you wanted. Once you found the method, you can just track back how to set up these the structure basically. And again here, these are just variable names I gave, so it can be expos1, whatever you want. You just need to make sure that you use the same name before. So what happens here? Basically, all these inputs, I think they call arguments. So all of those I set up here. So I assign the value to this variable, and that value is the camera positions coordinate x, or coordinate x, then coordinate y, then coordinate z, then yaw angle and pitch angle. How you can do it? So I look for camera positions in the help, camera positions is the interface I'm looking for, the iCamera position. So here, as you can see, there is collection container. So I always mix these up, but I think it's the container you need to use. And here, there is the item by key. So this is the easiest way to access something, at least for me, because you know that it doesn't change, because this camera position, that is number one. So you have created it, it's number one, it's not going to change unless you change it. So it's very easy to access. You don't need to filter down all camera positions. Just know that I want camera position one. So that's why I use the item by key. And if you use item by key, you use that container basically. And within that, I want the at value, the attribute value. So what it says again, so I to the expos variable, I assign the value, the attribute value of coordinate x, so that the coordinate x attribute value of camera position number one. So if you want number two, you just put two here. If you want another attribute value, you replace that, and just basically keep all this long thing. Then I do y pose, z pose, yaw angle, pitch angle, and then just use the method, and then I just assign all those, I just put all those variables basically here into the arguments or the inputs, and then Vissim will basically set the view to this. So if I completely put these into comments, and I move this view away, Vissim will set it up. You see? Of course, you can skip these if you always set up before you start your model. You just click on it. Then you can avoid doing these. I just thought let's discuss it. And also let's discuss where to get these positions. And this might be helpful in a future project of yours. Okay. So now let's go to these, to the next ones. So let me just remove the comments. So what do we have? So first here, what do we have here? So I have a current path variable. I just created it. So again, the name of these variables can be whatever you want. And I just add the path. It is actually not necessary in this model because I used it in another test. So let me just delete that, or just, yeah, actually I can delete it. Here, simulation time. So I'm going to need the simulation time because I want that in my file name. So I created a simulation time variable. Again, this can be anything what you want. Yep. And then I get the simsec. So simsec is an attribute. Again, if you go to the search, simsec, or you can try simulation second. I don't know if it will find it this way. You might need to look a bit further. So simulation attributes, simulation second, there you are simsec. So now you know that it's in simulation, iSimulation. You go to the bottom and referenced by and Vissim. There you are. So you know that it is here. It's a Vissim again. So we just use Vissim, here simulation, then the attribute value of simsec. So the simsec attribute value is now stored in the simulation time. And of course, every time it runs, it always updates that because it runs it um, in every time step, but I can run it in every temp basically if I want. Okay, that's all clear. Now for this, in the previous video I explained, but let's have a quick catch up. So this is like, it is a container. I think that's the right word to use, like a container. It contains all Vissim vehicles at this time step where this is run. So this is all the vehicles here. Vissim.net.vehicles. Again, you can check in uh, the help. So if you go here in vehicles, you can check the, so it's net, and within net, if you go the net reference by Vissim. So Vissim net vehicles, so all of that vehicles, and then it will loop through, and basically every member, so every vehicle will be stored in vehicle in this loop while it is in its loop. So while where these are indented, as long as they're indented here in this for loop, that vehicle will be one of that vehicle. And then again, I just assign the vehicle number, vehicle.value. So you can just basically replace this. You can just replace this by saying Vissim net vehicles item by key, item by key, item by key. Then you put one hot value like that. Just of course you need to always make sure that there is a vehicle number one here, which is not necessarily that already left the simulation. So that's why it is not proper like this. Yeah. So let me just put that back. Okay. Then the speed, then the position, then the name. So the name, the reason I have a vec name variable, because I'm going to use that. What I will do, when a vehicle is speeding, I will update its name and it will say speeding. The reason for that is to avoid any duplicate pictures. So let's say if there is a photo of a vehicle when it was driving 100, then later 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, like 5 meters later, when again the loop runs and the script, it will still be doing more than 50. So it will create a new file name, and we don't want that. So that's why I put speeding. When when a vehicle speeds, go faster than 50, and then I will know that if there is already called, if it's already have a name of speeding, then I am going to just skip that. So there is the if, where I check for everything. So all the conditions are here. These first three are identical to the previous video. So if the vehicle position, if the vehicle is between the 100 and 110 meter section on the link, and is driving more than 50 kilometer per hour, and its name, so vehicle name, so if in the name attribute there is no speeding, because what I say, vehicle name equals speeding. So when you use a string, so when you're checking for when you check if the variable is equal to a string, you need to use this double thing, double equal sign in Python. And I say not. So and not vehicle name equals speeding. So basically the vehicle name is anything else or empty but speeding. Then I will run all these three. What I do first, file name screenshot. So now I concatenate the file name. When I say concatenate, I basically start putting the string together. So I start with speeding reg. So speeding is basically just the file name start with speeding, then reg as registration, and I put this into brackets. As you can see, I use it interchangeable, so that equals to that. In Python, it doesn't matter as long as before and after is the same. Then in between pluses, so with plus you say to Python to basically concatenate or to add that new, like to append a new string to it. And what I do, I convert, str converts something to string. And what I do, vec number contains the vehicle number, but that might have a funny floating or like a not accurately integer number. So it is not like 1, 2, 3, 4. In number, actually, it might be. So I think I can actually delete it. But for the others, not so. Like simulation time is not accurate. It's stored as a float thing number, I think. So it's like that has a long decimal. So it would have it would end in a very long file name. I can delete and show you actually with simulation time. It can be funny. And again, speed. So I just keep appending the string, and basically just first I convert vehicle speed to integer. Integer means like 1, 2, 3, 4, so like a whole number. And then I convert that to string. So it can be appended to a string. And then I add like .jpg. You need to be very careful here. I ran into an error where I didn't get any error, but nothing happened because I had a semicolon or this double dot thing. Since you can't have these certain special characters in Windows as file names, it won't create it, but it won't give you an error either. It's just something to keep in mind. Yeah? And then I just basically run the screenshot method. I explained in the previous video that it belongs in this current network window, and that belongs in graphics, and that in Vissim. Then the input for that one is just the file name. You can add another one like scale, I think, but that's optional. And here is the magic. Vehicle set at value. So the vehicle, that vehicle, again here, if I want, I can replace it with like vissim.net.vehicles dot item by key dot item by key. Here you put vehicle number, and so on. So you can do it that way as well, just it is shorter like this. So you set that value. There is a method, or I don't know what it's called, like you can set a value and you set the name attribute to speeding. You need to pay attention here. So whenever it's a string, you always need to use these strings. Yeah. Okay. And when you run it, if I go now to my com, here you can see that sometimes it can have that dot zero and sometimes it can even be longer. If I don't run in every 10th period, then it can be funny. So you don't want that. So if I put back here int, int, I delete the file names. Okay, again move it away. I run it, and when it is at 60, it jumps back to the right place. Okay, I'm going to stop, and there are the um, files. So you can see the speeding vehicles. So I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comment section if this style or this way is useful, enjoyable, or what would you like me to change or do it differently. I keep posting other examples and try to explain why I do what. I try to stick with simple things, at least in the first many or the first couple videos for com, because I think it's very easily can get more complicated or too complicated, and also try to maybe split problems or examples into multiple ones. So we can just do a simple one and then tweak it and then do a little bit more to it when we see what is a, let's say, like a weakness in it. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. That would help the algorithm to promote my videos. Or you can check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel differently. Thank you for watching.